old office safe sat on the floor. I used to keep tax records and other important documents in it. It used a digital passcode lock, but I didn't have the code. Maybe I had left it somewhere. Maybe you need to keep track of your own shit. I leafed through the notebook I had taken from the forest. In it were the names that had been written down. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, Rachel. I recalled the names I saw scratched out on that old desk, deep within those musty tunnels. Was the man in that house really up to something? Was he the one responsible for Rachel's murder? I had found him dead. Yeah. Interesting. This is a very, very different story than the one I'd gotten before. I wonder if it all hinged on him taking the gun or not. It was the letter I had taken from one of the postbox. Oh, from the toast box. Rachel, were you really having an affair with Norman? But why? I didn't think things were that bad. In the letter, Rachel seemed concerned. She almost seemed worried of what Norman might do. Did he do that to Rachel? Maybe. I was sure of it. She wanted to end their affair, and that bastard killed her for it. A lot of it made sense. Norman was clearly seeing Rachel a lot, so he had plenty of time to plan it out. He knew where we lived, obviously. Is that why Rachel looked so scared when I came home that day? What had happened to me? Did Norman knock me out or something? Dude, all I'm taking away from this game is the extents people will go to lie to themselves. I didn't know what to think. I just wanted to put this whole mess behind me. From now on, I'd have no one to get angry with me for stupid things like buying this TV. Just thinking about things like that made me sick with grief. I refuse to believe that this guy is honestly oh no, someone randomly murdered my wife and buried her in my basement. You're not fooling anybody. Please. It seemed like I had seen all there was. Maybe I thought I was ready to go back into the basement. Nope. We still need that passcode. There would be no more dinners here. No more chit-chat over breakfast. At least not for us. Yeah, that'd be awkward to buy the house. No reason to return to the backyard. No more chit-chat. No. Okay. I want to find that passcode for the safe. I mean, there's only really so many places it could be. I'm trying to remember. Just thinking about things like that, blah, blah, blah. Is that a bed? A spare bedroom? It's fucking posh, man. The laptop was dead, but I found some notes and loose paper in the drawer where I had found the key. There was a yellow sticky note with an 8-digit code on it. Did I take it? Yep. The code looked like it might be for the safe. But what kind of phrase was that? Alright, let's get cracking for the safe. And then we'll go into the basement. And then we'll leave forever. The code I found should have let me access the safe. Did I try to open it? Yeah. The code worked. I pulled open the small safe door and peered inside. There was a photo of Rachel and I when we had first moved to town. In it, we were smiling in the front of the house, which looked like a real mess. It looked happy, though. Odd. I couldn't remember who took that photo. Inside the safe was also an envelope. The front of it read, "Do not open until I tell you." I guess this was as good a time as any to see what was inside. Did I open the envelope and read what was inside? Yep. I tore open the envelope and removed the yellow lined paper inside. On it was a letter written in a hand that looked familiar. The letter read, "I know this whole event has probably been pretty difficult. You can't imagine how hard it's been for me too. Well, maybe you can. That isn't meant to be an excuse, but, well, I hope you can better understand why I've done what I've done. Moving to this town seemed like a dream. A quiet place to get established, to live out our lives, and to be together. But you know, as well as I do, that things changed quickly. Your drinking was one thing, but as you grew more distant, as you retreated into that world of yours, well, it was clear you didn't need me as much. In fact, maybe you never needed me at all. But it took all this to make you realize. In the end, though, you may never forgive me for this. You may never forgive yourself. But this is probably for the best. You'll be healthier for this. I'm just sorry it had to happen this way." It's an ambiguous letter. That's the letter I get no matter what happens elsewhere in the story. No, I think, depending on how you play it, it can be a little different. Let's go. Come on. Now that I stood there, I realized I couldn't go back into that room again. I had already seen too much. "So you're running forever." There was nothing for me here anymore. No reason to stay in that house. Did I leave, never to return? Yep. Living in this town hadn't been easy. The plant had helped in some way to stay grounded. It kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get away from my past. When the factory closed, everything changed. I guess that was when I had started sleepwalking, disappearing for hours at a time. Sleepwalking. I had MRIs and piles of doctor's reports, but nothing seemed to help, not even drinking. But I swear I had tried to give it up. I know it. Sleepwalking never really went away, though. But I know Rachel had tried. I know she tried to be there for me, even when everything was falling apart. This night had unearthed terrible truths, but I knew it was a final act of a long-standing horror I'd been living. Waking up in that house tonight was the final cruelty. I wish I had remained unconscious in that room forever. It was obvious to me that the man I had found in that house had something to do with all this. Could he have killed Rachel? It started to seem that there were too many things I had seen to think otherwise. After making it out of those tunnels, I thought those sewers might feel safer. I was wrong. The security tape I had watched showed someone being attacked by what looked like two people. But who was it that was attacked? A security guard? And probably you and Norman killing the crazy old guy. Deep within those woods, though, was where things became truly awful. Finding that notebook only made things worse. Rachel's name had been on that list. So what terrible plot was she a part of? There was a similar list of names on that desk back in those tunnels. What was the connection? It was clear, at least, that I had been the one going back to that factory. I must have been sleepwalking or something. What the hell was I doing there? I had given up drinking, hadn't I? So what was going on in that boarded-up room? Suddenly, my stomach started to turn. Was I responsible for that dead guard? Yep. After the factory, I thought I might find some solace if I could just get to Norman's store. But all I had found were more horrors, more questions. Now that I really consider it, that's when I should have seen it coming. Norman, you were dead. It was damn hard to feel bad about that. It was clear you and Rachel were more than just friends, but obviously whatever had been going on had gone badly. So why did you kill her? Did she want out of whatever you two were getting into? Were you responsible for the other murders? And of those other horrible things that had gone on in that town? I would find no peace, that much was certain. But this way, I didn't have to look you in the eye or sit through some kind of trial and wonder what was going through your head. When I had marched through the rain towards home, I desperately clung to the hope that this would end. And I guess in a way it did. But how could I have known how hopeless it all was? I had started to feel as disoriented as when I sleepwalked. To think of it now, coming through the back door and into the kitchen should have tipped me off that something was horribly wrong. There was no sound of television, radio, even the air was still. But seeing Rachel there, lying ruined and discarded in the basement, that was a horror I never could have imagined. That other man I had found was involved in all this somehow. I knew it. But it was Norman, traitorous son of a bitch, who had done the deed. Whatever was going on, he was the one who took Rachel away from me. I hated him for it more than I could possibly express, but that offered no strength, no solace. Rachel was gone now, and I was too, forever. As I swung open the door and stepped out into the air, I caught the scent of wet grass and fog. Rachel, my beautiful wife. Just the thought of her again, cold and inert, shook me from head to toe. What would I do now? Who could I turn to? It would only be a matter of time before the police got involved, before the neighbors knew. The front lawn was soft and giving beneath my feet, and I couldn't shake the urge that I shouldn't stand there, but rather that I should run. I mean, whatever makes you happy, buddy. The end. Yeah, that's charming. Alright, well, that was Home. Thanks for playing with me, guys. I can actually manage to play a horror game through. Take care.